Hello and welcome to Friday's Granada Reports.
Hello, on the programme this evening.
94-year-old Mary died in a house fire believed to have been an accident. Tonight, the confession in a game of truth or dare that's led to her step-grandson getting life for murder.
We can at long last have some closure and solace, knowing that justice has been served for my mum.
Not forgotten, the students investigating the sacrifice of black and Asian servicemen who fought for Britain.
Christmas has officially arrived here in Manchester as the markets are now open, and this year there's a brand new winter wonderland to enjoy.
And in just over an hour's time, the stage here at the Opera House in Blackpool will be filled with a whole heap of stars paying tribute to the late, great Bobby Ball. Join me at the end of the programme with a whole heap of famous faces.
Well, first tonight, a discarded cigarette was thought to have started the fire that killed 94-year-old Mary Gregory at her home in Heysham in Lancashire. But the true story was today described as disgusting and shattering. And it only emerged after a game of truth or dare weeks later.
Tiernan Darnton, Mary's step-grandson, confessed he had started the fire. He's been jailed for life for murder. Our reporter Claire Hannah was in court.
For more than 3 years, it looked as if Tiernan Darnton had got away with murder. But it was a game of truth or dare where he told his friends he may have killed someone, then him confessing to a counsellor, which led to him being jailed and a family finally getting justice.
The last 3.5 years have been traumatic for my family. We lost a loving mother, grandmother, aunt and dear friend in horrendous circumstances. Now that the true and full facts of the fire have come to light and the perpetrator of this callous and evil act is behind bars, we can at long last have some closure and solace, knowing that justice has been served for my mum.
Peter's mum was Mary Gregory. She died 4 days after being rescued from her home in Heysham. She was 94, had dementia and was a heavy smoker. At first, the fire was treated as an accident, but the investigation was reopened after Darnton's confessions. Now 21, when he killed her, he was a teenager with a history of being obsessed with murder. On the night he started the fire at Mary Gregory's home, he'd gone in there, he'd dismantled 2 smoke alarms, he unplugged the phone and he put a coffee table in front of the conservatory doors. When fire crews found Mary Gregory, that is where she was found, next to that table. Mrs Justice Yip told the courts about internet searches he'd made which revealed dark thoughts. One of them, I think I might be becoming a serial killer, help. She also told the courts of plans to stalk and attack women and a kill list police found when they searched Darnton's home. They also found plans he'd drawn up of Mary Gregory's bungalow shortly before he started the fire, which killed her.
Darnton tried to convince the jury that he was Mary Gregory's loving and devoted grandson. Make no mistake, Darnton was not related in any way to Mary Gregory. Darnton's assertions of love and devotion were nothing more than a distraction.
Darnton will serve at least 15 years behind bars. Claire Hannah, ITV News, Preston.
Well, next tonight to a story that's developing as we come on air, and that's the inquest evidence from the young man who stabbed Yusuf Mackey to death in Greater Manchester. Yusuf, who was a talented grammar school pupil, was just 17 when he died in March 2019.
His friend Joshua Molnar, who has been cleared of murder and manslaughter, has been appearing by video link at today's hearing. Let's talk to our correspondent, Rob Smith, who's at Stockport Coroner's Court. Rob.
Well, Joshua Molnar told the coroner about that moment that he stabbed his friend Yusuf Mackey after that fight in Hale Barnes more than 2 years ago. He said that they had argued after the then 17-year-old Molnar had decided to go home after what's been described as a precursor incident earlier in the day when Molnar had been beaten up and he'd lost his bike. He said Yusuf used an offensive term. He said he pushed him, that he hit him, and then the pair pulled out the knives that they had been carrying. Now, he said today to the coroner he couldn't remember who had pulled out their knife first, but Yusuf came towards him. He put his hands up and he didn't actually register what had happened, didn't register that Youssef had actually been stabbed until he walked away thinking the argument was over, and then he heard the words from Youssef, "He stabbed me." It was put to him by the Mackie family solicitor that actually Youssef hadn't hit him, Youssef hadn't pulled out a knife. He said, "I disagree." Joshua Mona, of course, was cleared of murder and manslaughter at a trial after telling a jury he acted in self-defence. He did admit initially lying to police about what happened, did admit possession of a knife, and he received 16 months in custody. Another friend with the pair that day, Adam Chowdhury, also gave evidence today. He said that he and Youssef, seen here together, had been browsing knives on an app in their school canteen. They'd been looking at them on the phone. Chowdhury had bought those knives. They were less than £5 each, had them sent to someone else's house so that parents wouldn't find out. They got them, he said, so that they could look cool, so that they could show off, and they'd taken them along to show off to Joshua Molnar that day in Hale Barnes. Adam Chowdhury was cleared of perverting the course of justice. He did admit possessing a knife. He got 4 months in detention. This inquest will continue next week.
OK, Rob Smith, thank you very much.
OK, more of the day's news now. And the future of Rolls-Royce plant in Lancashire has been secured after a long-running industrial dispute was resolved. Staff at the plant in Barnoldswick have voted to accept an agreement which includes a commitment from the company that there will be no compulsory redundancies for 5 years. It also guarantees that manufacturing will continue on the site for at least 10 years.
Campaigners in the Northwest are assessing the success or otherwise of the COP26 UN Climate Change Conference, which concludes today. It's hoped delegates will return home with a renewed determination to help us all take positive action on climate change. But the politicians have so far been unable to reach a significant agreement on coordinated action.
What we have seen are lots of deals and agreements between sort of coalitions of the willing, between countries and companies and civil society who want to see action, and they've got together and agreed stuff and they'll go away and do it, and that's absolutely fantastic.
I think the will is definitely there. It's the shift in media kind of perspective, in public perspective, and the pressure of electorates around the globe is definitely there, and I think politicians are feeling that. I don't necessarily think the shift in priorities has possibly gone far enough towards a climate crisis that it needs to.
Well, next, and there have been commemorations all week to mark remembrance, and now we're going to bring you the students from Rochdale who've been on a journey of discovery, uncovering the hidden stories of Black and Asian servicemen who served and in some cases died for this country.
Yeah, pupils at Failinge Park High School reached out to their own diverse community to discover tales from the Second World War.
It is a project that's brought history to life, and as Tasha Kachiri now reports, has been an eye-opener for those taking part.
Millions of soldiers from across the Commonwealth fought for Britain in both world wars. Many of their stories have been forgotten, but now students at Failinge Park High School in Rochdale are hoping to change that by connecting their present to our past.
I'm going to talk about my grandfather, who was a war hero in World War II. His name is Muhammad Sadiq Malik Qadri.
My granddad, and his name was Ahmed Deen.
And his name was Fazal Karim.
The students uncovered how much of a contribution Black and brown soldiers made to the war effort, including those from their own community, and decided to spread the word.
We've been researching the backgrounds of the war and all the people and the information that we thought that we'd missed, and it turns out we'd missed a lot of information.
I learned that there's a lot of people involved in it, like a lot of minority people that people really don't know about.
You genuinely do learn a lot about British culture, and that's all I thought I'd been in the war.
The first feeling was in pure shame and pure embarrassment that people of ethnic minorities who put their lives on the line to save this country, that no one knew about them, about what they went through.
It sort of, in a way, made me feel quite disappointed that I hadn't always had this wider understanding, and that it's not on our national curriculum to learn in our history lessons.
Learning about Black and Asian soldiers who fought alongside the British isn't compulsory on the national curriculum. And in April, it was revealed that hundreds of thousands of predominantly Black and Asian soldiers who died fighting for the British Empire were not commemorated in the same way as their white comrades because of racism.
They should have got the recognition that everybody should have got.
We should do better.
They deserve to be recognised, and we deserve to understand and know about the history of our country.
The community of Rochdale, they were naturally connected to this project, it definitely had a big effect on their identity.
Now the students say they have a stronger connection to remembrance.
I feel I'm a part of Remembrance Day because my heritage, they've participated and they've helped win the war, and I feel a sense of accomplishment for my family and my heritage.
I also now realise that I have something to remember about when I have the 1 minute silence.
I've got a reason to remember them because my heritage, my ancestors have fought in this to give me a better day, a better life. So it's just such a more deeper connection to it.
Tasha Kachiri, ITV News, Rochdale.
Yeah, the next generation remembering those who have gone before. All next. So, like so many events this time last year, Manchester's Christmas markets became a victim of the pandemic. But they are back from today, albeit centred on a new location and with COVID precautions in place.
Yeah, well, let's join our correspondent, Mel Barham. He's live in Piccadilly Gardens. And Mel, you look fab in your hat, first of all. And secondly, how busy is it?
Thanks, Vicky. It's really busy here, and as you can see, Christmas has very much arrived here in Manchester. It's a shame it's not smelly vision, actually, because the smell of mulled wine and bratwurst is really wafting through the air tonight. As you say, I'm here in Piccadilly Gardens, which has been completely transformed into a winter wonderland. This is actually a brand new location for the Christmas markets this year. It's been designed to look a bit like a Swiss ski village. And as you can see, all the festive food and drink markets are here. There's even a vegan bratwurst stall this year. And another brand new first for this year is the stage, which you might be able to see behind me, which is going to be playing live music every evening. And there are 6 other locations dotted around the city centre with more of these Christmas markets, as you'd expect. And this year is set to be even more special because, of course, last year's Christmas markets had to be cancelled because of COVID. Well, this year, the council say they have put measures in place to make sure it is as safe as possible.
It's designed, it's outdoor, it's socially distanced, the crowds will be controlled. So it's a million miles from what we used to have in Albert Square, where everyone was on top of each other. It's not going to be like that anywhere this Christmas.
Well, one of the many stall holders here this year is Gareth Kitchen, who runs the Pig and Barrel stall, which is just over there. Gareth, you've been coming here as a stall holder since 1997.
Absolutely.
Why do you keep coming back?
Well, the first year we did it was 1997, just and it was in Piccadilly Gardens, the first ever Christmas market. And it's just a special vibe. It's just, Manchester's amazing. And so lucky to be invited back all these years.
Why? What was it like last year? Because, of course, we couldn't have it last year. How disappointing was that?
Very. Obviously, personally, for myself, for money, but it was just the vibe of coming to Manchester and doing the markets. Missed it. Really missed it. So glad we're back.
And I love the fact that you've actually moved to Manchester now. You've relocated because of the Christmas market.
15 years ago, I relocated to Manchester, made it my home. I love it. Love Manchester, love the markets. I'm just so glad we're back.
Brilliant, lovely. Thanks so much for talking to us, Gareth. Good luck for the next few weeks.
You.
Well, the Christmas markets will be here until the 22nd of December. And here at Piccadilly Gardens, this Winter Wonderland will be here for a little bit longer until the 3rd of January. So if you want to get into the Christmas spirit, you know where to come.
Oh, Mel, you've made us feel really Christmassy there. Thank you. It looks amazing. Smelly vision. Wouldn't it be great if that was a thing?
Awesome stuff. And good to see Pat Carney dressing for the occasion
Captain
as well.
Christmas
Councillor
himself.
Pat Carney.
Still to come tonight.
Recruiting for new fans ahead of the big weekend for women's football.
And the weather is settling down just in time for the weekend. If you're getting out and about or getting to the Cenotaph on Remembrance Day on Sunday, you'll need all the weather details, and they're coming up.
And here's what's coming up on the ITV News at 6:30 with Mary.
Coming up in the programme, the Channel migrant crisis escalates. Record numbers of people continue to land on Britain's coast. I'll have the latest. Judges refuse to increase the sentence of a man jailed for choking a woman to death during sex. Plus,
I only knew you for a while.
Row over the John Lewis Christmas ad. And will Britney finally find freedom today? Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Some football news for you now, and Manchester United women will make history by playing in front of an Old Trafford crowd for the first time ever. They'll take on Everton in the Super League next March.
Yeah, the same two clubs go head-to-head this Sunday as part of Women's Football Weekend, and as Chris Hall reports, United have been out recruiting some new fans.
They've booked the biggest venue in English club football. Now the challenge is to fill it. So they've started the PR push in the shadow of Old Trafford at Stretford High School.
When I was growing up, I obviously had a few role models in the women's game, but not as many as there is today, and I think that made it a little bit harder for some girls to maybe stay in the sport and maybe see a path for themselves. But I think when the likes of Ella and I can come down here today, it only helps the girls realise that maybe there is a future for themselves, and I think that it's exciting because they can ask questions and soak it in.
Like all clubs, they're hoping the international break in the men's game will lead to a surge in Super League attendances.
It's going to be massive. I think we obviously missed the fans last year, and they missed it as well, and I think that's why we're getting so many more coming into the stadiums now to watch. And yeah, this weekend of women's football will be massive, and I'm sure there'll be big crowds.
COVID restrictions robbed them of an audience when they first graced the Theatre of Dreams last season.
For any young girl in Manchester, what a summer you got coming up. Obviously the first game being at Old Trafford of hopefully a monumentous Euros. I think that it will be great, and we can't wait for it.
United's opponents this weekend hope to treble their crowds inside 3 years, but playing in giant stadiums isn't always the preferred choice for the players.
When we played against Man City at Goodison Park for the opening game of the season, I think hindsight says that maybe it was just all a little bit too much in terms of the occasion. Obviously welcome the opportunity to play at Goodison Park again, but the club have invested heavily in Walton Hall Park, which is our home ground. I want to see that grow. I want to see that become a fortress. I want to see it become a place where people don't want to come and play us.
That starts on Sunday when United come to town, perhaps with a few new faces in the crowd. Chris Hall, ITV News.
Now, Cannon and Ball were like the Ant and Dec of the 80s, performing to 20 million people in their heyday with their comedy sketches and songs. Now, a year after Bobby Ball's death, a star-studded lineup has been put together in his memory.
Yeah, Rock On, the variety show, takes place at the Blackpool Opera House. It's raising money for Bobby's favourite charities, Lytham's Lowther Pavilion and Blue Skies Hospital Fund. Our entertainment correspondent Caroline Whitmore's in Blackpool with one or two of those famous faces taking part. But we should start first, though, with a quick memory of the man himself.
Can I say something? You can see her dress. She looks like a hanging basket, but very beautiful.
Well, yes, I am wearing the dress that makes me look like a hanging basket in honour of the late great comedian Bobby Ball. And that is what this evening is all about here at the Opera House in Blackpool. This stage, in just over an hour's time, will be filled with a whole heap of stars. Look, Steve Royal's even rehearsing as we speak. Rock On, that's what it's called. Rock On, the variety. And I'm now joined by Bobby's widow, Yvonne, or Von Von as he used to call you. He would have loved this evening, wouldn't he, Von Von?
Oh, he would. He'd be in his element. He'd love to be on the stage with all these fabulous, fabulous people.
And you look incredible. I'm loving your hair.
Do you know, go to Specsavers.
Stop it. Now, this event, along with a whole heap of other things, you've managed to raise the money for the statue, haven't you, for Lowther Pavilion?
Yeah, we raised quite a bit, with everybody just giving, and now with all the shows and everything, we've got it. We have got it.
Oh, we've got it. Well,
and it should be launched in the summer.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for joining us, Von Von.
You're very welcome.
Enjoy the evening. Sally, you used to work. Hello, you. You used to work with Bobby on Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, Bobby was my dad for 7 years, but he was more than that. He was I loved him very, very much.
Oh, I know. And I must admit, it's just testament to his character, isn't it? Just how many people have come this evening?
Oh, people come from far and wide for Bob. I mean, he was sunshine, wasn't he? And he was wonderful, and he was funny, and we adored him. And I wish he was here today, but he's not. So the next best thing is his statue,
yes,
which he would find hysterical that there's a statue of him, and that we're all here today to pay tribute to him. He would also say, "Could you get on with it? Because I've got another gig after."
Oh, your eyes were going then like mine were before when they were singing Greatest Love of All. Enjoy the night, Sally. Thank you very much.
See you.
And you. And Russell, you're performing. You're on the bill.
A couple of ditties tonight.
What are you singing? Can you give us a little bit? Sally's saying, can you sing? Can you give us a little bit of a taste?
It was meant to be a secret. It was meant to be a secret. I was going to sing something from Les Mis, and I was going to sing one of my little classical numbers as well. You want me to do something now?
It would be nice, yeah.
You might want to move your mic away then, unless you want it blowing up.
Tu sole è più bello in me, oh sole mio, sta in fronte a te, oh sole mio, sta in fronte a te, sta in fronte a te.
Well done, Russell. Good luck, everyone, this evening. Back to you.
What a legend.
Do you know what I love the most about that? How the orchestra behind him paying no attention whatsoever to Russell Watson.
I tell you what, there are any glasses in there, they were probably pinging those high notes.
Yeah.
Tell you what, Cal, though, she gets everyone with all the show.
Absolute superstar. What's she talking about looking like a hanging basket?
I don't know, but her and Tommy, they had a really, really lovely relationship, and I know she was very, very sad when he passed away, so she'll be looking forward to that.
All those
show
memories,
tonight.
all those memories of that duo, that partnership are coming flooding back. It looks like it's going to be an absolutely fabulous event, doesn't it?
It will, and a ball tomorrow as well, apparently.
Let's have a look at how the weather's looking. I do hope it is good. Christmas is just around the corner, but it's not quite snowing yet, is it? Joe has got all the details. Let's have a look.
I hope it's not snowing.
Now that is brew weather.
And only boiling what she needs.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Big up you, sis.
Thank you. Very good evening to you. Our weather just settling down in time for the weekend. High pressure building in for the next few days and into next week. So that's going to give us largely dry conditions, with the best day of the next couple being tomorrow in terms of sunshine. Temperatures are still above average, certainly until we get to around Monday or Tuesday next week. Now, low pressure and a bit of rain and blustery winds has been the order of the day today. That's moving away now. High pressure is building in, and this weekend's looking decent, particularly for our part of the world. So northwest England, the Isle of Man, having a largely fine couple of days with slightly more cloud building from Sunday onwards. Back to this evening, there's the odd shower around for a time, but mostly things become dry as we go through tonight. A few shallow mist patches, winds swinging round to a northwesterly, and by the end of the night, probably temperatures not falling away much below around 7 or 8 Celsius away from towns and cities. Saturday then, first of all the sun times, it's up just after 7:30, setting just after 4:15 tomorrow afternoon. It should be fine where you are to start Saturday, with some sunshine quickly getting out once any mist or low cloud lifts. We have a northwesterly breeze, but the air is mild and temperatures will readily get to around 12 or 13 Celsius tomorrow in that sunshine. Hopefully you can get out and about and enjoy it. And as we go into tomorrow evening and tomorrow night, staying dry and quiet, but cloud will build. Remembrance Sunday will be a dry day and mild, but a little bit dull. Temperatures are back down to around average as we go through into next week, but we're holding on to the fine conditions certainly on Monday and Tuesday. Enjoy yourself.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
2 sugars, please. Oh, lovely.
Well, no snow, thank goodness. Thanks, Joe. Just before we go tonight, let's hear from the one and only Rick Astley, who's in the middle of a series of gigs for the NHS and emergency service workers to say thank you for their hard work during the pandemic.
Yeah, demand is high for the free gigs, with tickets selling out in Manchester in just 30 minutes. And there's a plea from Rick himself: if you have tickets but can no longer make it.
If somebody is holding a ticket and they can't make it to the gig or just don't want to come anymore, then please do your best to put the ticket back. If you go on any of my social media, you'll be able to find out how to do that and how to put your ticket back in, because somebody else might want to come. So, you know, we'd obviously want to get a bum on every seat kind of thing. So, just said bum. A bum on every seat, and that'd be great, you know. So, but we're just looking forward to it.
Yeah, don't say bum. That interview with Rick's on our website at itv.com/Granada.
Yeah, many thanks indeed for watching. As ever, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye for now.
Bye-bye.